Wow, I can't believe we're already past 5 weeks for the season already. Week 6 of the NFL season's already going to start tonight, so here's my picks. And last week I think it was 9-6, so I got over 500 in a row, 2 weeks in a row, so that's very good for me. And of course, here's the playoff bracket right next to me. In the AFC, the Steelers and Raiders would have the byes. It would be the Ravens going to the Patriots and the Broncos going to the Texans. And in the NFC, the Vikings and Cowboys have the byes. It would be the Eagles going to the Falcons and the Packers going to the Seahawks. So wow, just 5 weeks left, and the Vikings somehow stay undefeated, and the Browns are still winless, although that's not really a surprise. So now let's get to my picks. So the first game is the Thursday nighter tonight, and that's the Broncos going to the Chargers. And the Broncos have never lost there since 2010. That's how long it's been since they last lost. Remember, Tebow did that comeback against them in 2011? I remember that 24-point lead that Chargers had in 2012, that Monday night game, and they blew it 35-24. Oh, man, I can't remember who made that pick six the Broncos did, but I remember laughing my ass off when that happened. But, so let's see. I heard rumors that McCoy might be fired if they blow this one. And let's see, they blew the Chiefs. They blew it against the Raiders last week, although it wasn't guaranteed they were going to win. They blew it against the Colts. Can't remember their fourth game. But, man, they've been blowing a lot of games that they probably should have been able to easily win and be in a much better position now. But, although Broncos are most certainly a better team, and the Chargers' history of not only blowing games, but the history of they haven't beaten the Broncos at home since 2010, I think the Chargers might finally just pull off an upset just to save McCoy's job too, 24-21. Watch, it'll blow up in my face like last time. But anyways, after that, it would be the first Sunday games of the week, and that's the 49ers going to the Bills for the first time since 2008, and Kaepernick is going to be starting. And they did a restructuring of his contract too. And gee, I guess we're gonna go back to hearing about the not staying for the anthem again. That'll be fucking annoying. But all of a sudden now the Bills suddenly have turned it around after that shitty 0-2 start. And I'm sure Kaepernick's gonna be quite rusty because he hasn't played in almost a year. So he's probably gonna be shitty, and we saw how shitty he was in the preseason. So I expect the Bills to destroy the 49ers 35-10. We get to another intra-conference showdown. The Jaguars going to the Bears for the first time since 2008. And this is the first time the Jaguars played since their bye last week. And they have been very underachieving so far this year. And the Bears have definitely looked better now with Brian Hoyer as a start. Jesus, I mean, he looked good with the Browns except the last year. Then he looked shitty with the Texans. Now he looks good with the Bears. He's very inconsistent. But they're at home, and they've been playing much better, and I don't trust the Jaguars apparently anymore since they keep blowing every chance they have to win. So I think the Bears will win 27-24. Then the Rams go into the Lions, and oh boy, the Lions are inconsistent as always. They managed to just get lucky to maintain that win against the Eagles. The Rams blew a big opportunity to beat the Bills last week. They need to hurry up and start Jared Goff already. This is getting ridiculous. But the Rams, they haven't won in Detroit since 2009, and they've been pretty embarrassed. Well, not that 2012 game, but Lions have had their number the last couple times they've hosted them, and I'm sure it's going to be the case this year, especially since the Lions are a much better team overall than the Rams. The Lions would win 31-27. Then it's the Steelers going to the Dolphins, first time since 2010, and although the Steelers are most certainly a much better team, and they match up particularly well against the Dolphins' terrible run defense, which Le'Veon Bell will easily wreck. Remember, history shows that the Steelers usually lose a game that they're not supposed to lose against, like the Eagles that they did this year. And also, the last bunch of years they've went to the Eagles, it's been right down to the wire, even though the Steelers were most certainly a much better team. So honestly, I think this game will be close as hell, and I think the Dolphins might pull off an upset 20-17. Oh boy, then we get to the Bengals going to the Patriots, so Brady will finally make his home debut, and he'll destroy the Bengals just like he destroyed in 2014. Oh god, I remember that. Remember that after that destruction they took Monday night at the Chiefs? Everyone thought the Patriots were done for, even though I knew they were not done for, and they proved it that next week destroying the Bengals. Well, guess what? They're going to destroy them again, and the Bengals' terrible start to the year will finally come to an end, as they'll lose 40-17. And maybe now that their tough part of the schedule's over with, maybe they can finally rebound. Alright, then it's the Panthers going to the Saints. Remember that shootout they had last year? And holy shit, the Panthers, I knew they were going to have a Super Bowl hangover, but holy shit, they're having probably the worst case I've seen in many, many years. We're talking, the way they're playing, I think they might go all the way down to the 2003 Raiders, and they fucking went 4-12 that year. And oh boy, that defense looks terrible. We don't even know if Cam's going to start this game yet, because he's still recovering from that concussion. And we saw how well the Saints almost beat them last year with that good defense. So you really think they're going to handle their business now with that terrible defense? Hell no. The Saints will win 35-21 and put the Panthers in even much worse position. Then it's the Ravens going to the Giants. First time since 2008. First time the Ravens are going to be playing the Giants in MetLife Stadium too, so that'll be interesting. And oh boy, a game between two teams that are very overrated and are very inconsistent and extremely concerning. The Ravens should count themselves lucky they're not 0-5. Same goes for the Giants, the way they've been playing this season. And I would probably say the Giants should win since they're at home, but I trust them so little. And even though I trust the Ravens so little too, I think the Ravens just might be able to pull off a 23-21 upset. And it's the Browns going to the Titans. And remember that massive comeback the Browns had in 2014? Holy shit, talk about how much of a difference 2 years makes. And the Titans, although they're still not really good, and Marcus Mariota has been very disappointing, except that game last week against the Dolphins. He was incredible in that game. The Titans are still a much better team than the Browns ever wished they could be, and the Titans will destroy the Browns 27-3. Then it's the Eagles going to the Redskins, and well, the Redskins have won 2 in a row hosting them, so they haven't lost since 2013. But the Eagles apparently are much better. But man, I don't really trust the Eagles. They finally looked back to the normal selves after they blew that game, chance to beat the Lions. And although the Redskins have won 3 in a row, I still don't really trust them either. I think they're overrated. But they're the home team, and history's on their side these last couple years. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles win. But I'm going to say the Redskins will win at 30-27. Then we get to the 4 p.m. game, starting off with the Chiefs going to the Raiders. And the Chiefs look god-awful bad when they're at teams, apparently, this year. Remember that destruction they got against the Steelers like 2 weeks ago? And the Raiders, they have not been as good as I hoped they were, although they're 4-1. But, I mean, all their games have been within a touchdown, so they could have easily gone, I think, 0-5 to start the year, so that's definitely not a good start. But apparently the Chiefs can't win at home. Win away from Arrowhead at the moment, and the Raiders definitely look much better. They definitely look a lot better than they did when they hosted the Falcons in Week 2. So I guess their Raiders will have the edge for 27-16. Well, then after that we get to the Cowboys going to the Packers. And oh boy, so far the Packers have the #1 run defense in the league, so they're probably going to hold Ezekiel Elliott down, who I think is leading the league in yards, rushing yards, which is unbelievable for a rookie running back. So if the Cowboys were smart, they should not rely on Ezekiel Elliott a lot and focus more on Dak Prescott's legs. Of course, knowing the Cowboys, they won't listen. They're still sticking to that running game no matter what. And of course, they're going to run right into that brick wall that Packers running defense, and the Packers will win 30-14. Then we get to a surprising matchup that I certainly didn't think was going to be happening. The Falcons go into the Seahawks. Who would have thought the Falcons would be 4-1? I thought they would be collapsed and done for by this point. But so far they're up there, and looks like they're the clear favorite to win the NFC South since everyone else is struggling mightily. But the Seahawks are at home, and LOB is still a major factor in this game. And unlike the Broncos, the Seahawks actually have a great secondary. The Broncos' secondary is mediocre, pretty much. So the Seahawks would win 24-17. Then after that, we get to the Sunday night game. The Colts going to the Texans. For the 4th straight year, the Texans have hosted the Colts on a primetime game. Fucking remember, it was 2013, it was Sunday night. And then we had the last 2 years, it was on Thursday night. If you're going to put them on for a night game, why not make it at the Colts for once to change things up a bit? And since this last year, it was more interesting at the Colts than it was at the Texans. But the NFL will never learn. And of course, looks like to me, that sign of Brock Osweiler has turned out to be an epic disaster so far. Matter of fact, he's playing even worse than probably Hoyer and all the other quarterbacks they went through last year, he has a QB rating of barely 70. That's how terrible he's been. Although they seem to do much better at home. I mean, the Colts have also had your number at home. The Texans have not beaten the Colts at home since 2012. That's how long it's been. The Colts have had your number at home. But the Colts are overall more shitty than the Texans are. So I think the Texans will somehow, someway pull it off 30-28. But I also would not be surprised if the Colts pulled it off. Then after that, we get to the Monday night game that everybody thought was going to be good, but apparently now gone to shit. And that's the Jets going to the Cardinals for the first time since 2004 and making their first appearance in University of Phoenix Stadium. And oh boy, Palmer might be good to go. Well, who knows? I think he's NFL.com say he cleared concussion protocol, so hopefully he'll be good to go. But man, Fitzpatrick is terrible so far. So leading the league in picks. Oh jeez, even though he did play pretty good against the Steelers last week, but those two games against the Seahawks and Chiefs are definitely holding him back. And I'm starting to really think that maybe they should put Geno Smith in as the start, because he didn't start a game last year, but he did play almost a full game against the Raiders last year. He did a very good job, I thought. But either way, the Cardinals would win 27-14. So those are my picks for Week 6. Hopefully I can continue staying above 500 and get better results this week. And we'll see what happens, but I don't know about you, but I can't wait for Week 6, and I can't wait to see Broncos at Chargers tonight.